House Bill 217, an act relating to emergencies and declaring an emergency. Representative Maddox.
Gentleman from McCracken.
Mr. Speaker, I yield to the lady from Grant for explanation of the bill and motion thereon.
Chair recognizes the lady from Grant for an explanation of the bill and a motion thereon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Could you please have the clerk report House Committee Substitute 1 to House Bill 217?
Mr. Clerk, please report.
House Committee Substitute 1 to House Bill 217.
Lady from Grant.
Thank you. As the House Committee Substitute comprises the entirety of the bill, I'd like to go ahead and move to adopt the House Committee Sub, please.
Question for the body is on adoption of House Committee Substitute 1. Is there any debate or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. House Committee Substitute 1 is adopted. Lady from Grant.
Thank you. House Bill 217 is a cleanup bill of Senate Bill 1 and includes legislative response to each of the unaddressed points from the Supreme Court's decision in Bashir versus Acri. It modifies the statement of legislative intent to reflect that government power in an emergency is a delegation of legislative authority, not inherent to the executive branch. It removes the laundry list of specific emergencies that the court read as specific justification for expansive powers for COVID and makes clear that emergency powers are delegated not just to protect life and property, but also the liberties of the people. It also modifies a statutory section that allowed the governor to control all emergency management services statewide for all purposes, whatever he deemed necessary, and limits that power to times and purposes authorized by the amended KRS 39A.100. Lastly, it modifies KRS 211.025 to limit the Cabinet for Health and Family Services' power to supervise local health departments and do all other things reasonably necessary to protect and improve the health of the people. It modifies KRS 211.180 to limit the power of the Cabinet for Health and Family Services to act other than through properly promulgated regulations and not just administrative fiat. Each of these points were specifically addressed by the court to justify unlimited emergency power in the executive branch in situations the executive unilaterally determines to be an emergency. Without these changes, the court will be able to point to its previous decision and the legislature's inaction as evidence of legislative intent, that the governor's executive powers remain expansive. This bill is also a vehicle to address any other emergency powers issues that arise in the waning days of the session, such as a response to the Franklin Circuit Court's injunction against House Bill 1 and Senate Bill 1. Mr. Speaker, if there are no questions, I'd move passage.